Hi, thank you so much for coming back and joining me. We are going to now go to the next level under the marketing category, and we're going to talk about messaging. So messaging is really the messages that you share with prospective clients and existing clients, reminding them what your solution is and what pain you can solve. Because remember, when you solve their pain and they're willing to pay for it, you have a much smoother economic transfer. They will give you money for the solution, right? So you aren't pushing a big boulder up a hill. You're reminding people, hey, I have this solution. If this works for you, let me know. And if your messaging is on point, people are like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you my whole life. Where have you been? I need you. So let's take a look at some questions that I think will help you define the kinds of words and phrases you use in your messaging. So when we talked in the marketing section about search engine optimization and keywords and how do you communicate with your clients by using their language, we need to understand what that language is. And so here are some questions for us to dive into those kinds of questions and answers a little deeper. When we are dealing with our customers or our prospects, we want to hear what they want the product to do for them, right? We want to know why they need this product. What are they hoping to accomplish? And this is really important because they might be using it for things not intended, right? If you think back to the remote control, somebody with a child saw this and thought, oh my gosh, wait a minute, I can totally give this to my dad in the nursing home or in the elderly care facility. This will be easy for him to push the buttons, right? If you talk to that client 6 months ago, it was only about the child. But if you checked in with them and said, hey, what do you need our product to do for you? Like, what else can we do? Somebody might say, wow, can you take off all the cute little animals and put it in, kind of bright, simple colors? Because I want to give it to my mom who's elderly, or I want to give it to my aunt who has, not full function of her fingers, and I don't think she wants it with all these cartoons on it. That is feedback that's super valuable from your marketplace. Additionally, you can ask your clients things like what features are must-haves, nice-to-haves, and not really necessary after all. Because some people might be like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this my whole life. But when you push them a little bit more, they might say, I love how portable this is. I love how small and portable it is. And so they don't need all the other bells and whistles because they only wanted the size, right? So when you get very clear on what exactly they love the most, then you can start to understand, if we were to invest in these other bells and whistles, would that even matter? And if all your clients are saying, no, it wouldn't matter at all, then don't invest there, right? That drives some of your product development, is hearing from your clients that that's not even why they buy your product to begin with. What is your budget for this product? How are you currently solving this problem when you're not using my solution? So if they have a problem and they have not purchased from you, ask them, how are you currently solving this? You don't have oven mitts, how are you taking hot things out of the oven, right? Oh, I use a towel, or I fold some paper towels, or I use my sweater, or they will give you other solutions to help you know what language to use. So when you have an advertisement and you have somebody grabbing a towel and wrapping it up and taking something hot out of the oven, someone else might say, oh my gosh, I totally do that. I don't have oven mitts either, right? So they will see themselves in that. You will use the keywords to develop your marketing campaign because that person will say, oh, that's how I do it. Right? So now you know, I can't just talk about oven mitts, oven mitts, oven mitts, because people who are buying my product aren't talking about that. They're talking about their towels or their sweater or, whatever they grab. How is the current solution either meeting your needs or not meeting your needs? When was the last time you bought something to try to solve this problem, right? So maybe they did buy oven mitts off Amazon or, from a store, from a retail store, and their hands were burnt because there was, the fabric was thin and there was no insulation or kind of that insulating fabric. And so you think, oh, okay, so the fact that I have this rubber cup in my oven mitts is, a silicone cup, is actually a really huge selling point because they tried to solve their problem, but when they held the hot pans, the heat transferred through the oven mitt, so they don't trust oven mitts. So one selling feature really is to talk about how much heat this silicone pad can hold when they're holding the hot pan. They could hold it for hours, so that gives you more information to build your message. What motivated you to give that solution a try? So when you bought something else to try your problem, why did you try it? What needs to happen to make you a customer of mine? Sometimes it's very simple. I want you to use my name, right? Starbucks has built a multi-billion-dollar business, and one of their most fundamental pieces in the first days of their training is we ask for the customer's name, we write it on the cup, so when their drink is ready, we can say, Rachel, your drink is up. Michael, your drink is up, right? Instead of just 2 pump soy latte with extra foam, no, Michael, I prepared your drink for you, right? So Starbucks understood the power of personalization in service. Your customer might want that from you, or they might want something completely different. Let them tell you. When you ask questions like this, what do I need to do to make you a customer? I'm just curious because I'm trying to grow my business and I want to reach people like you. I think you would be fabulous, and I think my product would make you so happy, and it would be such a benefit to your life. What would I need to do to get somebody like you to say yes to me, right? That feedback is golden. And if you had a perfect solution to your problem, what would that look like, right? So you want the customer to tell you their success defined. Remember, we did that in the Business Brilliance course. What does success look like to you? What does future me look like? Those exercises were things that you wanted. Now, you want to give your client the opportunity to close their eyes for a moment and imagine, if I had the perfect solution, what would that look like, right? They might say things like colors or textures or packaging or a feeling. I want to feel luxurious. I want this to feel luxurious. Some companies know that, and when you get the subscription boxes, it's covered in tissue with a beautiful sticker, and their name is in there, and it's this box lovingly prepared by Sheila and things like that. And you're like, oh, this feels so decadent. This feels so beautiful. You are speaking their language. You will now take all of this feedback and create your messaging. So let's explore. When we design messaging to reach our target clients, we have a couple of considerations. One, who are they? Which we just did in our ideal client exercise, right? Who are we targeting? Who needs what we sell? And where do I find them? Are they at farmers markets? Are they at doctor's offices? Are they at hair salons? Are they online? Where do I find these people? Where do they go? Where do they hang out? How can I best position my offer? So when you're using some of those questions that we just went over in the marketing area, things like, what do I need to do to get someone like you to be my client? Pull out some of the keywords and phrases and ideas that person gave you so that you know how to position your offer. If your clients are bargain hunters and they want a good deal, you might have a different pricing strategy. You might say this is a $199, $199, but for the next 3 days, it's $79, right? So this super discount for Black Friday or for Halloween or for Groundhog Day or Valentine's Day or whatever you're tying it to, right? So they're like, oh, wow, I totally want to buy this. Look how much of a discount I get. Somebody who is not price sensitive is not going to care about that. If they're like, I want a solution that works, I want to feel good, I want it to last a long time, I want to look good when I wear this scarf at a party, and I want other people to tell me how beautiful I am, I don't care how much it costs, I want to feel like $1,000,000. They're not necessarily going to be hunting down the bargains. They're going to go for quality. They're going to go for packaging. They're going to go for the experience of feeling like luxury, right? So your messaging will be very different. It will not be the sale, 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 come quick now. No, it's not any of that. It is refined luxury. It is softer colors. It is, like a more muted palette. It is what culture, whatever your culture is, where you are, defines as luxury, right? So that is definitely specific to your business and your environment. And so you know what that is. You know the positioning of your offer. What words and keywords do they need to hear? So what is the message they need to hear to say yes? Sometimes it's not what you think. Sometimes it is price, sometimes it's not. Maybe it's how quickly you can get something to them, right? If it's a plumber and you have an overflowing toilet, it doesn't matter if it's the cheapest price if you have to wait 5 days, right? It's like, I need you here in 10 minutes. Someone else would be like, there's a premium on that. Fine. I do not want my toilet overflowing and damaging my, fine, beautiful carpet or, ruining my tiles or whatever it is. Get here, I'll pay it, right? So in that way, the person is not price sensitive, but the message they want to hear is that I can get there in 10 minutes. And they're just like sold, right? How can you deliver the message that somebody wants to hear? So in this case, I want you to think about, is this an online thing? Is this a video thing? Is this a written word thing? Is this, headline and short bullet points? Or is this like a long form essay? Are you going to put your solutions in a book? Are you going to put them in, like memes and just really start dripping out these funny little quotations on Instagram, right? How can you reach your people? What is the modality? What is the vehicle that will bring your message to them? Because if Instagram is your vehicle, you're not going to have 75 paragraphs, right? That's not the right format for that. That platform doesn't want that kind of content, right? So you have to understand your message and what you are saying and who you are saying it to. That will also determine where your messaging will go. And then how do you measure your messaging? So how do you measure your success? Is it in sales? Is it in growing reach? Is it getting more people in your membership? What is it that can help you measure your success? And when you understand some of these questions, the next thing I want you to think about is, how do we bring it all down, right? We have all this marketing, all of these ideas, all of these options, all of these strategies, all of these possibilities. But the elevator pitch has withstood the test of time for a reason, right? It has withstood the test of time because at some point you will have 30 seconds of attention. Maybe that's at a grocery line. Maybe it's at a gas station when you're waiting to pay. Maybe it's actually in an elevator. Maybe it's at a networking event. Maybe it's on the phone when someone's asking you a question and they just want to know, what do you do? Like, what do you do? And what do you do? So we're going to create your elevator pitch using all of the content and information we have collected through the Business Brilliance and through this marketing chapter. And you're going to say something like, I help with, so they can, right? I help new parents with developing healthy sleep patterns so they can get their baby on, a good sleep pattern, for example, right? So you're a baby sleep consultant. I help new parents establish healthy sleeping patterns so everybody gets a good night rest. And you're like, wow, my sister just had a baby and she has not rested for 5 minutes. She needs to call you. And you'll be like, I will give you my card, or I will send her a video, or I will, whatever it is, and there you go. So within 30 seconds, you said who you help, what the pain is, and then what is the promised land solution? What is the end result? I help children struggling with math feel accomplished in their homework. If you're a tutoring center, right? So parents are like, oh my gosh, I need you. My kid struggles with math terribly and I can't help them. Have you seen this new math? And you're like, yes, I help children with that because I want them to feel successful. I want them to fall in love with math, right? And so you just think, oh my gosh, that's amazing, right? Who doesn't want to sign up with somebody who can help their child feel successful in math when for the past 4 years, your kid has sat at the kitchen table and cried every time they had to do their math homework because it was so hard and they didn't understand it and they thought they understood it in class, but they got home and the homework looks different and you have no idea what that math is. Because if you have not seen the new math or, like different incantations of how people are teaching math nowadays, it is different than perhaps our generation of math, right? So there's drama, there's stress, there's angst, there's anxiety, there's sadness, there's anger, there's frustration. Oh, you bet your bottom dollar, I am going to be hiring somebody to make my kid feel successful in math, right? So the elevator pitch takes what you have and it just encapsulates it into this beautiful, consumable, shareable, referable nugget. And that is the power of proper messaging, of clear, concise, consolidated, solution-based messaging. If you come up to someone and say, oh, I do all these amazing things and I have all these certifications and I'm a this and I do all of these great things, someone will be like, oh, that's good for you. Good for you. Nice. Oh, Charlie. And they'll go away, right? Because your business is not about you. Your business is about the problem that you solve. So that needs to always be your focus. The always be marketing is always be solving, right? It's not always be promoting yourself. So messaging reminds us it's about the problem that we solve. Right? So we want to find the people who have the problem that are willing to pay to solve it. That's who we need to find. And our messaging helps us get to those people. Anyways, good luck on going through all of these questions and come back to this, right? Your messaging will evolve. Nobody starts off on day one having all of their ducks in a row, all of their marketing, all of their messaging, all of their brand identity set, and it stay the same for the duration of their life. Not at all. It will evolve and it will spiral and it might go back and it might go forward and it might go parallel. It's a moving, dynamic evolution of your brilliance. So just start and do what you can today. If you have not had any clients before, or you haven't had many clients, after 15 or 20 iterations of delivering your solution, you will be a different entrepreneur. Heck, after this course, you will be a different entrepreneur, right? So with all of this new data, be open to the idea of what your business can evolve into and your messaging will change, right? The people who have dry cleaners right now in the middle of COVID-19 are changing their messaging, right? Because nobody is going to work. There's nobody putting on suits. There is no wedding dresses being worn in front of 500 people in these sweaty summer days that these dresses and these suits now need to be dry cleaned. Nobody's wearing shirts all the time, right? They're not taking them to dry cleaners. So they're changing their messaging, right? That's okay. Will they go back to suits and bridal wear? Probably. At some point, yes. But in this time, in this iteration of their business, they have new messaging. And that's okay. We can adjust to the market. We can adjust to environmental changes. If all of a sudden something has been found to be very unhealthy, your messaging can say, we've never had that in our products. We don't make soaps with palm oil because we don't want to be hurting the orangutan rainforests and all of their habitats. We never use palm oil, right? And then somebody sees an article about how dangerous and destructive palm oil harvesting is, and they're thinking, oh, I just saw that woman's, I just saw her on Facebook, and she said they never use, I need her soap. I need her soap because look at what happens. Oh my gosh, no, we need her soap. Let's go find her, right? So therein lies a brand new opportunity that when you share in good, solid, clear messaging, you draw people to you. It's inbound marketing, right? You're not promoting and screaming and shouting and all the things. You are providing value. You are solving problems. You are putting yourself out there, and people are coming to you saying, hot diggity dog, I need that. And you're like, awesome. I will be honored to serve you, right? That is the greatest. Anyways, this was our marketing chapter. I'm so grateful you were here. Thank you for following along through the messaging component of marketing, because really that is the outward expression of all of what we believe about our company. How we invite people into our spaces through our words, our visuals, our actions, all of that. So please continue to work on your messaging, and know really from the bottom of my heart, you will always be working on your marketing. You will always be tweaking your messaging, right? The people who made the remote control are tweaking their messaging to now speak to a different audience. It's totally fine. That is evolution. That is growth. That is expansion. That is amazing. So I wish you so much success in this chapter, and of course all of them, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.